All right, Coach. So 50-34 win at Lake Superior State last week, and then a 72-55 loss at Ferris on Saturday. Now, a lot of the team was not quite at 100% for most of this trip. Saturday kind of highlighted that. Kaylee took one to the face. Taya left the game, didn't return. Just like physically, what kind of state is your team in right now?
Oh, I mean, this is the crunch time of the season. When you got to battle through injuries and you got to keep playing, and you just got to keep going each day. It's also when you have people that go down or people who get injured in the middle of the game, it gives other people opportunity, and what they do with those opportunities, that's up to them. But it's going to happen in games. You're going to have injuries throughout the season. I have never made it through a season without people getting injured. So you just got to you got to keep going though, and you got to keep playing. And against good teams, they take advantage of it, and that's kind of what happened on Saturday.
Now, in spite of the split, and despite the difficulties perimeter shooting aside, that's kind of been there all year, but it felt like it was a good weekend for the offense in terms of executing and getting more players involved and getting what you would call quality shots. Would you kind of agree with that?
We started connecting. Some people off the bench started contributing a little bit more. When we get 30 points off the bench on Thursday, and then you get 35, I think it was on Saturday, off the bench, I mean, that helps a lot. And it relieves some of the stress of the starters and putting in a ton of points when they're already putting in a lot of minutes. So, it's everybody needs to contribute. Everybody needs to do their part, and that's kind of what we talked about is like you got to be the best you, whatever that is, because each person is different, but you got to be the best you to contribute to the team as a whole.
Now, for me, no doubt, the star of this weekend was Sarah Newcomer. I mean, career high 20 against Ferris, 8 for 12 from beyond the arc on the weekend as a whole. So, she's another one of those players that, like you said, has dealt with a lot this year.
Yes.
Hand injury, in and out of the lineup. What can you say about just like the way that she's been able to kind of bounce back and come up big despite all of those setbacks?
She's still figuring some things out a little bit, but she got going against Ferris, which was awesome to see. We needed that energy boost that she provides for our team. And like I said, she's been doing it in practice. We just needed her to get it out in games, and I think you built a little bit of confidence with her after Lake State to go into Ferris. And as a coaching staff, we keep telling her, you got to shoot, you got to shoot. She was a little, I think, hesitant at the beginning of the year. But now once she gets a couple games in and sees a couple of those shots go in, it obviously is going to help us a lot. And she had a great weekend. We just hope it continues.
On the other side of things, 17 turnovers against Ferris. Poor communication, bad decision making, a little bit of both. What do you attribute those to? Obviously in a game like that where they kind of blew it open.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of it too is just doing whatever they give you. You have to kind of make the right read and make the proper read. And they're a very handsy team. You got to be strong with the ball, with every possession that you get, and that you can't take things for granted. And they got a couple steals out of us, and then we just kind of sat back, and instead of being resilient with it and coming at them like we've been, we just kind of were a little bit loose with it. And then when we had a couple of our starters go in and out of the game, and people are kind of worried and we're trying to get our focus back, and I think that was a big part of it, which we talked about it yesterday. We watched the film. We are learning right now still, but hopefully we can make some corrections for this week.
And this week brings with it rematches against Saginaw Valley on Thursday, Wayne State on Saturday. Coach, your thoughts on the work ahead?
It's going to be a battle. It was a battle when we played them the first go-around. Saginaw, we came back, and we battled that whole game. We were down majority of the game and ended up getting the win. And then Wayne State, it was an overtime victory. I mean, it's going to be a battle this weekend. You got to be able to hit shots. You got to be resilient at this time of the year. Everyone's playing for something, and so you got to keep going. And each possession that you get, you got to do your best to get some points out of it. And on the other end, I think our defense is where it needs to be. We just got to get our offensive flowing a little bit.